is the second part of my double feature on Friday night, which was Boy Kills World,
Oh,
directed by Moritz Mohr and starring name that Skarsgård. This time it's Bill, who apparently can get ripped, just like his brothers, because he is jacked in this movie. Uh, Even though it's not that great of a movie, but it's an interesting movie to talk about because it is basically just kind of stealing from a lot of other things and trying to put together its own story. So it starts out you're in this like dystopian totalitarian uh country, and it uses the word dystopian and totalitarian way too much for a movie that's dystopian and totalitarian. Like it shouldn't be saying that if it actually is, but it does. And Bill Skarsgård plays this kid who his family is murdered because they defy the government, and he's taken in by this shaman in the wilderness and trained to be this like super soldier who's going to destroy and take down like the entire regime. And the regime is led by Famke Janssen, and her brother Charlton Copley for some reason is still around. Um, he This is like, all right,
wasn't he in Monkey Man too?
Monkey Man, Maleficent, Boy Kills World. Why is Charlton Copley popping up in these strange movies? Anyways, Bill Skarsgård, he's deaf and mute, so he's really good at reading lips, but he doesn't have a voice. And he says early on, and this is in the trailer, that he doesn't remember what his voice sounds like. So he adopted the coolest sounding voice he could come up with, which was like the voice of like the narrator in this Street Fighter arcade game he used to play. So everything he says sounds like this, and it's all his inner monologue, and that narrates the entire movie. And it's actually a pretty cool trope that it uses, and it's really well done. It's based off of a short, and I can see that because I bet it was a killer short. But stretched out, I mean, it's too goofy to be serious, but it's too serious to be fully kitschy and camp. Like it could have been Crank, but it decided to try and take itself too seriously. It's 2 stars. The action is really really cool. It's got some interesting twists and turns. The best scene in the whole movie is when he comes across a guy that he can't read his lips, and so what you hear coming out of his mouth is what he thinks he's hearing. And he's like, "Whoa, that
Yeah.
can't be right." That's the best scene in the movie. But it's 2 stars. It's fun, but it's not great.
Yeah, I'm a little higher on this than you. I saw this last week. It was actually my milestone number 6,300 movie. But yeah, the voice, his voice is the voice of Bob's Burgers, I guess. Like it's not actually Bill Skarsgård's voice, which
Yeah.
it would be cool if it was. It could even if it can make his voice sound like that. But yeah, I mean it is completely ridiculous. I give it 2.5 stars, but it doesn't really know where it's going, and it's kind of, but it's fun for the most part. It has some creative stuff, but like what I kept comparing it in my head to was Shoot 'em Up. It's like the one that's like trying to be this outrageous thing with some creative kills, but it's not John Wick. It's more like comedic. So I don't know. Bill Skarsgård's interesting.
He's really, yeah, like he's cool in this. But yeah, I didn't know where it was, what it was trying to do, and like I said, it was trying to be more serious than it needed to be. All right.
Are we sure that Todd didn't like it just because it sounds like Boy Meets World? I mean, it has a very similar title. I think that might have been part of the
See,
confusion.
they talked about that on the Pod Meets World podcast, and they're like, "Is this actually a movie that is playing off of the title of our show?" They're like, "We don't actually know.
Probably.
Might be."
Probably.